everyone, I'm Saoirse, and my trail name is Story. I thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail in 2018, and I also did the Long Trail in 2019 and the West Highland Way in 2016 and 2020. But before all of that, I was just a day hiker. I grew up here in Florida, and we don't have mountains, so my only experience was going on day hikes in North Carolina every summer. So because of that, I like to use that as my excuse. I didn't put a whole lot of thought into gear when I was planning my thru-hike. I didn't think so much about warmth, because we don't really get winter here. And I thought about weight, but I didn't know enough about, the ultralight world or things that would make backpacking easier for me, a person who's not used to carrying a lot of weight and who has a small frame. So there's some things here I want to talk to you about that I either sent back or changed out throughout my hike. One of those things is a journal. Now, I'm a writer and I'm always taking notes, so it was really important to me to have a paper journal to write on. But the first week of my hike, my fingers were so frozen I couldn't even hold the pen. I was not taking decent notes. It just wasn't worth the wait to me. And I realized that very quickly. So I sent that back and I just started taking notes on my phone. And honestly, it's been great because I can look through my phone at all of my notes and I can easily put them on my computer for when I'm writing about the trail. Now, some people do like to have a journal with them, and I saw lots of hikers using them, and I think that's amazing. For me, I was just paring things down. The farther I got north, I just kept getting rid of more gear and sending it home because I thought every little ounce is really going to save my back because the pain is real. I was really thinking about the physical and mental part of the hike, and I wasn't so much doing research and thinking about what gear really made sense for me. All I did at the beginning before I left was go to REI and kind of look around and see what did I like. Like I said, had no experience, so I was pretty lost. Another thing that I would call a gear regret is having gloves that are not warm enough and not waterproof. So I got these at the NOC, and that means the first, few weeks of my hike, my hands were freezing because, again, I'm from Florida, and even though it was the end of March, beginning of April, it wasn't the worst that it could have been. It was very extreme cold for somebody like me. And at the end of my hike, it took me 6 months, so by September, it was very, very cold in New Hampshire and Maine, and when there was rain, that made it really hard for me. So I wish I had had gloves that were more suited to that. And I would have sent them back during the summer because during the summer I sent home my fleece and a lot of things. I was really hiking in a tank top and shorts, and I barely used my rain jacket because it's so hot that you kind of want to be rained on. But in the winter, you don't want to. Well, it's not winter, but spring and early fall. You definitely want to stay warm and dry. So another thing to do with warmth was a puffy. I didn't have a puffy jacket. And a lot of people did, almost everyone did that I saw. So that was definitely one of my biggest gear regrets, and I just recently got one now, so I can finally put that to rest. I can go on hikes and feel a little bit better about how I'm going to feel at night because I just get so cold at night. But I didn't have one. I had a fleece and I had a rain jacket and I had some base layers. So I'd be wearing every single thing that I had with me at night and still shivering. Another reason I was shivering is this is an Enlightened Equipment quilt, and it's great. They're a great brand, but it's a 40-degree quilt. I got a 40-degree quilt because I was trying to save weight and maybe money, and it just seemed like 40 degrees, it's never going to get that cold, right? Again, Floridian. So 40 degrees, not warm enough. That was possibly one of my biggest regrets because I spent a lot of nights shivering at the beginning and the end of the hike. Now in the middle it was great because everybody else with their really warm quilts and bags were sweating and they couldn't really use their bags at night, or they sent them home or something, whereas this was great in the summer, but definitely not for the trail. It was a mistake, big time, but it's still a great quilt and I do love it, and I would definitely get one from them again, just maybe a warmer one. Now let's see, we also have the weight issue, and I brought these Tevas. They were my camp shoes, and they weigh a pound, and I didn't know that until I got to North Carolina, hitched a ride to Boone, and I went to the Mass General store, and I weighed these shoes, and when I found out they were a pound, I was so disgusted with myself. Like, how could you possibly put an extra pound on your back when there's lighter shoes out there? So I picked up some very, very light camp shoes, and that was such a good idea. It made my life better because I wasn't thinking about like why I'm carrying this extra weight, because really every ounce does count. I'm not joking. I mean, some people love to carry a lot of things to be comfortable in camp. And for me, it was really while I was hiking that I wanted to be comfortable, because when I got to camp, I pretty much passed out. Also, a regret would be not knowing more about a filtration system, because I definitely recommend the Sawyer squeeze, and that's what I used the whole time. But the bags that come with it, when you're filtering water, I had so many of these bags burst at the seam. Like right here, I'd be filtering into my pack because I had a water bladder, so I'd be filtering in there, and then it would just burst, and my pack would get full of water, so you don't want that. So when I did the long trail, I learned from that mistake, and I got this platypus bag, and it just worked so much better. I used this to filter. I screwed the Sawyer on there, and I filtered with this. A lot better. So yeah, great filter, but the bags, at least in my experience and a lot of other people that I met, they do spring leaks. Now I don't know if they have updated their design, hopefully, but it's definitely worth it to pick up something cheap to use instead of that. I got this at REI, and it's just a stuffable pillow. And y'all, you don't need this, because I don't know what I was thinking. I hadn't done any backpacking, so I'm trying to cut myself some slack. But you just need your clothing bag, because you're gonna stuff this with clothes. Why don't you just leave them in your clothing bag and then use that as a pillow? You definitely don't need a stuffable pillow. I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so comfy. No, I was perfectly comfy with my bag full of clothes. Not always super full of clothes, because I was usually wearing most of them, but yeah, I did fine with just the clothes under my head. You don't need to get fancy, and you can. Some people definitely want to get fancier than others, and that's totally fine. You hike your own hike, and the great thing is, you've got months out there. If you're doing a long through hike, you've got months to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. And one thing that really didn't work for me was this. It is an Osprey pack, and it's a big one. And it was really popular on the trail. I saw a lot of these. But you just don't need that much space. At least I didn't. So by the time I got to trail days in Damascus, Virginia, I switched it out for a Z-Pax pack, and it was much smaller and much lighter. This thing is like 4 pounds. So you truly don't need that much room. I don't know what you're trying to carry, but you really, if you pare it down to the bare essentials, you'll be fine. And if you resupply enough, you don't need to carry too much food. So a couple of other gear regrets that I would mention that I don't have anything to show for you, because this is like bathroom stuff. One thing is not having a really awesome pee rag, because ladies, you know, like pee rag is so essential, and I just had like a microfiber bit of towel, and I would definitely look into getting something that's like for that purpose. I've seen some companies do make them, and I'm super interested to try that out because it just makes life so much easier. And the other thing would be period underwear. If you use it, it's great. If you have the opportunity to clean it out, it's great. Like, I would recommend it. Like, women on the trail, you know, it's not easy to deal with that time of the month, but I liked it until I realized I'm not getting into town enough to be like doing laundry to make this a thing that's really worth carrying. So be interested to know like what other people did for their periods, because it wasn't the best thing to carry, but in everyday life, period underwear, awesome, recommend. But on the trail, things are different, and you find that out very, very quickly, that the things that you may use in your normal life, they're gonna be they're gonna be different, and you're going to need to adjust your lifestyle a little bit, but hopefully you don't have too many regrets. And I definitely had more things that I was happy with than things that I regretted, honestly. So I hope this helped a little bit. Again, hike your own hike and find out what works for you, because what works for somebody that you meet on the trail, it totally might not be your thing. So maybe you do want to carry more and live a little bit of a luxurious life in camp. Or maybe you want to have the lightest base weight of anybody on the trail. It's totally up to you. Thanks for watching and happy trails.